Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to another episode of the Gentleman's Podcast. Episode 87 of the Gentleman's Podcast. Feeling like a kid again. It's I, your host, Nas the Innovator. And I would like to thank y'all for tuning in, before we go any further. Show appreciation to the suits that's around right this. I know the audio has been put on. I know I've been saying for a while that the videos and stuff gonna come back, and they coming in due time, but still it's a quality over quantity thing. So just been doing the audios like more consistently lately, and when the quality get to where it's supposed to be for the visual aspect, then all the videos will come together. But episode 87 of the Gentleman's Podcast, feeling like a kid again, is the title of the episode. In today's episode, you know, actually a happy Easter, um, happy Mania weekend. The playoffs just started. It's a lot of it's been a glorious week so far. With next week coming around, it's still gonna be glorious. Just glorious times to be alive, for real, for real. Now this episode today, based off the title, you probably won't gather the full aspect of it just off the title. So in this episode, I'll just like to talk about in a deeper aspect, just like the feeling like a kid again, just being in touch with your inner child and the child you once were and things of that nature when it comes to hobbies, passions, and you know things like that. If you would indulge me, I did a little writing to also set the tone of this episode. And in my words, they say, in a world that forces us to grow up faster than usual, it is almost guaranteed that you lose touch with the child you once were, your inner child per se. Rather that be in a way of losing touch with imagination, growing out of things early, or feeling too cool for certain interests. Now, it's important, if you really think about it, being in touch with your inner child slash imagination can be or is, however you want to put it, the difference between living in a world of create and living in a world of survival. Now, give y'all a little time to let that sink in, but that's kind of facts to me. I mean, of course, I wrote it out, but it's facts though. It's facts though. But yeah, backbone of this episode, man. I'm recording this as like it was night. It's not. It's day two. It's day two of WrestleMania. Night one was amazing. I watched the playoffs when I got to the crib yesterday. So it was just like I said, just a glorious time to be alive. When it comes to things for the eyes, having a lot of stuff to watch now. Because I've been sometimes it be hard not having nothing to watch, nothing no YouTube, Netflix don't be hidden, or like well, I only watch wrestling and YouTube, so I don't know. But sometimes when YouTube don't got nothing, it just be like, damn, what's going on? But that's besides the point. In this episode, like I said earlier, we'll be touching on just being more in touch with the younger version of yourself, back in the day, things that you used to like. And it's also build this also you only this is also a bridge episode to build up to another episode, a video um that's coming together later on. Y'all to see it. But I'm gonna remember this episode for when that episode comes. They basically sort of kind of go hand in hand a little bit. But passions, passions and activities that first let's talk about passions. Passions is something something that pull your heartstrings in a way. Something that like gets you riled up. The definition of passion, I got it right here. The true definition of passion. Um strong and barely controllable emotion. So, passions is just like activities or hobbies, might I say, for a better word, hobbies that can gather, that can rile up the emotions, rather it's good, bad. You're just very passionate about these specific things. Um, while I was writing and also watching wrestling and watching the playoffs and stuff, I was just thinking like, because not even necessarily the playoffs. Like basketball itself is not like a passion of mine no more. But I know, like to some people, and they might not even watch. Some people like basketball just because they love the sport. Some people like basketball but don't watch NBA. Or like, and some people like basketball but only playing it. It's different levels to it, but it's all still a passion. You feel me? I was just thinking about um, there like all the aspects of that while I was watching wrestling and stuff yesterday, and I came to the not the conclusion, but like it just kind of dawned on me though, like hobbies. The definition of hobbies is an activity done regularly in one leisure time for pleasure. So just like doing anything in your downtime. You know, that's basically what hobbies is. But in my terms, hobbies is things we do or grew accustomed to, so we can escape some form of reality in a short time. Um, so have hobbies such as like watching wrestling, like when I'm watching wrestling, or people collecting things such as cards, basketball cards, baseball cards, Pokemon cards, or collecting action figures, collectibles, shoes, collecting all type of stuff, or people watching anime, people reading comics, people writing. There's a lot of hobbies in the world, but I feel like they all. I'm just going off of my thought process from last night and to this morning, and it all came together for this episode, and because yesterday, and shout out to my boy K Dot. Yesterday was the first time I was able to watch WrestleMania with somebody and not have to explain what's going on or have to like not necessarily have my knowledge of wrestling, but not be able to show my thinking of knowledge of wrestling, or like truly appreciate the art of wrestling without having to hear oh, this all fake, or back when I used to watch this and like it was just it was a very genuine moment for me at the time, which was starting to with which we got the screws up top, the brain meats to start thundering around a little bit, to start brainstorming, and things just coming together. Shit, it was just like, you know, I don't know where it come from, like what it is about wrestling that, well, actually, when I think about it, like, and I'll challenge y'all to think about the same thing. So let me put it to y'all like this: think of something that could be considered a passion, something that you feel strongly about, and think about the connection, where the connection came from. What's the why behind why you feel so strongly about it? You know, like for example, not even for example, but from my instance, wrestling. Like I was saying, watching wrestling. It didn't really start off as watching wrestling. It started off playing a game of wrestling, but I think it was more of a like that's how that's how I could, connect it with others around my age, like even older than me at the time. Like growing up, wrestling was just like everybody liked wrestling growing up. It seemed like, or like everybody I was around, to where like wrestling was just like, even if you ain't watch it, even if we wasn't able to watch it on some, like, we don't got pay-per-view, we don't got the pay-per-views, we don't got cable, we don't know when Raw come on, nothing. We throw on our own WrestleMania. We get into the living room, or somebody would get the belt and then go to slide to granny crib or something. Y'all heard the wrestling story. I don't gotta go down how the upbringing with wrestling was. But just like the connection behind it though, like just like it really I don't want to say it's a trauma thing. It's not a trauma thing at all. It's a beautiful thing, if anything. But just like the what a love of wrestling came from for me, for me specifically, just like being able to big cousins at the like I told like go back to the wrestling story I told y'all beginning the time in my wrestling career, bro. I was not able to play the wrestling games or nothing because I was simply too young. They didn't think I knew what was going on, and they was, they was how I feel about wrestling now. Like I'm not finna sit here and teach you how to play wrestling and none of that stuff because it's gonna take the fun away from it for me because I know the ins and out of this shit. So that's even though they wasn't really that cold, they was just like create their character. I just wanted to create a character too, but that's neither here nor there. Eventually I came up, I got my own character and shit. I'm damn near in the game now. But that's neither, but like just like that's just like a an instance of why wrestling as a hobby, as a passion, it just means so much to me by itself. Now everybody gonna try to push that wrestling fake, and then you got to chop somebody in the throat one time, and you just got to let them know like you talking too crazy. You feel me? And that's just how it is. That's just how we get that's how wrestling fans get behind wrestling. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for anime. With like with the anime people. Like back in the day, I don't know why it was like. Well, I don't know really. I don't really know why it was like this, but it used to be like it used to seem like watching anime was a bad thing. Now I've never watched anime, so I can't really touch on it too much. But it's off observing and knowing people who used to love anime and just being in conversations of when they talking about anime and stuff like. Because I used to watch like before I even knew what anime was. I watched Pokemon, a little bit of Pokemon, a little bit of Dragon Ball Z, a little bit like I watched a little bit of the main shows, the quote unquote main shows, but never was in depth to really like know the difference between the seasons or know all the characters enough. Like I knew them. I knew if I knew characters and stuff, it'd be off of like because I got the games at the crib or like I'm playing the games, so I know certain characters, but I don't know like if this character is even in the show that's going on today or like I don't know the ins and out of it. But even with the people who watch anime, they could how I think about some of they, possible connections to anime could be like a, you know, just it was just like I'm saying like what I'm going to say what I'm going to show is like it's all our hobbies is like just an escape from reality in a way, but in a good way, not a bad way, because being in reality, the whole all like all 99% of your life, all 99% of your time every day is just like that's where all the I feel like all the depression and all the built up and like that's where all the other shit come from. Like you don't got nowhere to, and that's when. And I don't really want to make this episode to be like to touch on the negative things because this is a like I said, it's a beautiful thing we talking about. Passion is beautiful, art is beautiful, and it's art and all of this stuff too. I don't, you get it, but I'm not gonna keep pushing the whole beautiful art and all this stuff thing on y'all, but it's just beauty in all of this shit. Basically, it's beauty in the world in general, but and just how like everything go hand to hand in a way. Like if you just sitting out here and oh, I got bills to pay, damn, you got to think about this shit all like you got no not necessarily coping mechanism, but like you got to wait all the way to the weekend to to get drunk or to get high or something or to get fried out your mind to where you could and that's your way to escape from reality. That's what I don't want to touch on. I'm trying to stay on the path of touching on the beautiful hobbies, but that also a part in it too though. Like it's it all correlate. But like I was like but like to get back on point, like I was saying with the anime people, I kind of how I observe it and pick it up is like okay, not really being really sociable in a way to like with school and with like just being able to, and that's not for everybody, but like just from my experience with people who watch anime, they was never really been like the, you know, because people like the one people I know who watched anime, it was always like a, okay, you was into sports, you was outside and things of that nature, or you stayed in a crib, you watched anime, you liked games and stuff. Now everybody liked games, that was the common ground, but it was like, okay, the reading mangas, comic books, uh anime and stuff like that. Now, see, like I told people multiple times, like I didn't go like everybody's trajectory is different, but mine was, I didn't go through the Transformer, I didn't go through the Power Ranger, I didn't go through the, I watched a little bit of all that stuff here and there, but I was just like, okay, video games with all of that stuff count me in. I got all of those games, I got all the games, so I know I got knowledge about those things, but it was like Marvel, like superhero stuff, wrestling, and then like, but I was in the game world too, so I'm able to learn on. I'm able to be in conversations where they talking about Ash caught this Pokemon and here, but when they get to talking about Hunter X Hunter or one like shit like that, I'll be like, whoa, I don't know, and I always go to that one line like, I'm trying to get into anime. What shows should I watch? And every time I ask that, I get recommended a different list of shows, but it's just like, and even though I know I'm not gonna watch none of these for real, it's just I take them and I keep them in my mind to then be like, damn, it's like it's a really a variety, and you could hit a passion in other people when they talking about these things, like I didn't personally own a a card book, but I had access to a book full of basketball cards, and just was like, I don't know, with those with like collectibles and collecting things, I can't really tie no like knots to what's the passion and what's the connection between those, but because I don't really know too many people who've done that themselves, but it's just, I'm pretty sure it's a connection in that too. You feel me? It's just like, it's all just all just like kind of crazy in a way. How like everything, how this all, how everything is really like a puzzle for real. I apologize for having a shortage of words. Pausing all the ahs and uhs and stuff. But I'm just amazed by the thinking that I'm having right now. The thought process that I'm having while recording is just like, it's just really amazing. You feel me? Like I like, please, because you could comment, you could leave comments on Spotify, on YouTube, and all that stuff. Because it's gonna be everywhere you watching this. You're pretty sure you can leave a comment. Leave one saying what I asked earlier. What's a passion of yours, and what's the connection of? Now I do read comments, the comments that I do get, and so if you read them, it's not gonna be, you typing that time you spent typing them out is not gonna be for no reason. I replied to them and everything, but I truly just want to hear them. This episode not even really gonna be like too crazy for real, too long or nothing. Just this was just really it. Just a quick little thought process I had. Just the passions and stuff. Now I probably missed out on certain things like listening to music or creating music. Like a passion of mine is beat making. I went from, and I was thinking about a storyline with that, not a storyline with that, but like the timeline with that passion and the connection behind that for me too. Like making beats and all that stuff. I didn't really start like embarking on that journey yet, but it always started from as I was a little kid. I went from like beatboxing, making beats in my head to like, like you can't really hit other people brainstorm, but like I used to brainstorm crazy as a kid, and I used to like make the beats. I used to beatbox with the brainstorm in the head, and I make a whole beat that only I could hear for real, for real. To everybody else, probably like, nigga, what the fuck is you doing? But to me, I was putting together the craziest 808, like craziest like speaker knocker going wild. I was putting together that shit. Then I got a drum set and I started playing on that, and then I started getting into the instruments during elementary school and stuff. Like it's really it's a like just think about it like this. Take your passion and think about all the way from childhood beginning or whatever is the earliest memory you got of that passion. And then just look at like the build up behind it. Because I'm pretty sure like if it's a passion today, it always been there. Now unless it's possible you can pick up new passions along the way. But even then, pay attention to them. Like even use this thinking for future reference. Even to take that thinking and use it for future reference as into like you just what drove you to get this to develop this new passion and then watch how it grow and it either go away like it either lead to something else or shit it just like this is it the whole time like for the basketball players like for the athletes and stuff in general no matter what sport it is rather it could your connection to the passion could be you watch somebody you watch somebody play it like you had a family member who played the sport uh your family was too like was deep into the love of the sport or it was just like a or like it could be a family thing like everybody in your family played the sport so you automatically loved it or it could be like a for me like for me if I can only use me in all of these instances the ones that I can relate to but for the sports my thing came from and I it's kind of crazy it sounds kind of crazy how I think about it now when I think about it now but like for football because they both different from football I didn't really care about football until like my passion for football started in like what 2012 no Madden I think Madden 12 I was I was going through it like nigga getting my ass buzzed back everybody on Madden I'm talking about all the local play all the couch party Madden come on Xbox 360. We in that bitch. I never knew who to pick. I'm always trying new teams. I never had a new team. I mean, I never had a favorite. I didn't have a favorite team at the time. None of that. And that was just like that. I think Madden 12 came around, and I caught that first W. I caught my first W with the Saints, with like Drew Brees and them. Shorty, I was a Saints fan from like Madden 12 to like shit Madden 16, I think. Then it went from Madden 16 to what like that's 2016. I started playing football like 2017. I was like a Cowboys fan. I was a Cowboys and a Seahawks fan, low key. And then that's when then the Cowboys started going all off the tracks and all that shit. So by like 2018, by like my freshman year, that was my last year repping the whole Doc Prescott and all that shit. Ever since then, I've been a Seahawks fan, and I just, it's just been that. Now it's not a passion to me or nothing now, but it's like a that's where it came from. Like that led to me playing football, which led to college and all that stuff. Like I did a football story too, I did a basketball story, but with basketball, it was like a my cousin played basketball. I had family that played the sport, so it was like if we did want to play sports, that was the first sport we was all gonna try to play and shit. It was never really a passion, but it was always there. So it did grow into one to where like now I feel like I know the game in a different way. I don't know what ends like I know the ins and outs, but I don't know like I'm not gonna be like one of the flashiest players and nothing like that. Like I'm not a Kyrie Irving fan type of guy. Like I'm a CP3, uh, um, a 2014 Spurs. I'm a fan of basketball, like true basketball. Like I'm not not a YouTube mixtape. Oh, go watch Jelly Fam type of like basketball fan, but I'm a sit back and I'll watch how they run the plays and I'll look at the ball movement, talk communication on defense. Like I'm like that all. That's what I'm saying. That's the and it's not that's those not necessarily passions, not no more. But like I said, you grow out of some. Some you grow out of, some embark new ones. But that was it. That was just the ones. I went on to play basketball and became, and played it became more of a like team role, which then also influenced the way that I look at basketball. I don't look at just the big things. Like I don't really care about who putting the ball in the bucket. I look at who set the screen for him to get open, who drove back cut, who took the back cut to then force his man to play to pick a side to where like okay if you step up you got to pass the ball down and like just the small stuff. Who died for the ball when there's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter? When do the coach call the timeouts coming out of how they stop the breaks and stuff like just ins and outs, man. But that's really that's really it. That's all I really wanted to touch on. Just think about, so I'm gonna leave y'all with the same question I asked earlier. Um, think about and share your passions, any passion. It could be good, bad, or like it's all it's a safe. This is a safe haven, a safe place. A safe haven might not even be the word. I looked up that word the other day, and I don't think I like that. I don't like the meaning. I ain't like the meaning that I saw, but it's the same shit. It's safe either way. But share share a passion but damn, I forgot what I was gonna ask. Share a passion and the connection you got behind it. Like, now I don't. Now I ain't gonna lie. I said share, but don't be typing too long now. Now YouTube gonna stop you after a while. It shouldn't get to no point to where YouTube got to stop you. Summarize. Cause I like to read, but come on now. I'm not. I'm expecting a couple. I'm not expecting, but I would like a couple comments and you know, people could stop commenting if they see your long ass comment, and that'll make other people not want to comment because shit, you took up all the space. They feel like you ain't gonna be seen. So quick 2-3 sentences about why you got a passion for why you feel strongly about whatever it is, like I said, it could be whatever. But that's really it, y'all. This it's your host Nas the Innovator signing out for this episode of the Gentleman's Podcast. I'm gonna hang my suit up for another day. Enjoy y'all holiday and yeah, man, we out. Peace. Oh wait, oh damn, okay, yeah, wait. Don't forget like, comment, subscribe. I'm talking about like, comment, subscribe. This ain't this that's for my YouTube, Spotify, Overcast, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, leave recommendations for episodes, suggestions, any criticism, any like, for pod from pod experts or just like from shit fans of podcasts, just like, if you watch other podcasts and you think of other things from if you and you think about other things from them that you feel like I'm missing or that I could somehow like mix into what I'm doing. Like, I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna take the idea that you throw at me, but I'm gonna mix it up into, a gentleman's way. So it's not gonna be the same, but just suggestions and things of that nature. I'm fully open to all of them. Like I said, this is a family, this is a community. This is a team in a way. Can't nobody could grow without the other. We all supposed to grow and glow together. But shit, that's really it. I'm gonna end it off right there. And we love y'all and we out.